All right, here we go. So 10.5a. What does the first word up there say? Factoring. Okay, so we're going to review factoring today.
Technically the first word section.
Yeah. Technically the first word section. Always good to have you back, Luke. All right, anyway, as we're looking at factoring, we're going to kind of start backwards. I'm going to give you problems originally that are partially done. And then on the second page, we're going to actually bring the whole factoring piece back. And so this is just a review of the new part. And then on the back page, we're going to talk about the whole process. Our goal in factoring is to end up with something in a factored form. That's our goal. Now, little question for you. If two things multiply together and equal 0, would you agree that either the first one is 0 or the second one is 0 or both? To be equal to 0 and multiply. If I say Sam times Luke equals 0, one of the two of them has to be 0. True? Could both of them be 0? But at least one of the two must be 0. Either Luke equals 0 or Sam equals 0 when they're multiplied together. So here we can say either x plus 4 equals 0 or x minus 5 equals 0. True? And that is called the zero product property. What's product mean? Multiply. The zero multiplying property. And so what we do is we break this up into two parts. The zero product property says we can break that up into two pieces, and we can say either the first part equals 0 or the second part equals 0. Well, now it's almost trivial. How do I solve the left-hand piece? It's really simple.
Negative 4.
Subtract 4, that's right. And so my first answer is negative 4. To solve the right piece, I add 5, and I get x equals 5, which leads me to an answer of negative 4 and positive 5. Now, I want to pause here for a second. These are two answers. This is not a point, Ryan. This is not like a point 4, 5 on the graph. This is one answer, that's another answer. Could you have 4 answers? Sure. But in this case, because we have two factors, we have 2 answers. Let's look down here at 1b. Very similar. First part, second part. So we break it up. The first part equals 0, or the second part equals 0. To solve the first part, what do?
Subtract 6.
Good. Subtract 6. Second part, somebody else?
Do you divide by 2 first?
Jalon?
Subtract 3.
Add 3, good. We always get rid of the plus minus first. 2x equals 3. I'm not quite done, am I? Ryan? Divide by 2. 1.5. The negative 6 is smaller, so I'm going to put that first in my answer set. Practice writing your brackets. I know some of you don't like writing them, but just practice. Go slow, practice writing your brackets. 2 factors, 2 answers. 3 factors, 3 answers. 1 factor, 1 answer. On 1c, how many factors are there? How many x's are there?
2.
There's an x there and there's an x there. So you probably have 2 answers. The first factor is just 3x. The second factor is x minus 1. What are you thinking about this first one?
Divide by 3.
Yeah, just divide by 3. Now, this has thrown some of my best students in years past, and I don't want you guys to be thrown. Can you divide 0 by a number?
No.
Sydney's saying no, Luke's saying yes. No, Luke's saying no, Sydney's saying yes. Can you divide 0 by a number?
Yeah. It'll.
What will you get when you divide 0 by a number? 0. So can you divide 0 by a number? Yes. Let me reverse the question. Can you divide a number by 0? No. That's what you're thinking, Luke. So don't get thrown by that. You can always divide 0 by a number. Perfectly fine. Over here, obviously we add 1. Writing my solution, the smaller one first, 0, 1. So, yeah.
Is that just the answer in the brackets?
These are the answers, right. Those are the answers.
Mean anything?
Those are the places where this parabola crosses the x-axis. If you remember, let me take you back a couple pages, if I can find it. Oh, I gave away my notes, I think. But just for example here, here's the answer key to the practice quiz. You see that spot right there and that spot right there? Those would be the answers where the graph crosses the x-axis. That's what we're finding. Had I graphed these, we would see that these points are where the graph crosses the x-axis. Now, that's the new idea. Now let's do a little review. Flip her over. The problems on the back page are not in parentheses, are they?
No.
It's a quadratic in each case. Remember what a quadratic means? Exponent of 2. So in order to solve these to get to the point where we were on page 1, we've got to get up to 2 parentheses. So we've got to factor. So let's just do a little quick review here. Factors of blank adds to blank. Remember the Mac method? Okay, the number in front of the x squared is a 1. 1 times negative 48 is negative 48. You guys did a great job of this on the last chapter. Adds to what number? Okay. Take 10 seconds, work with your partner, think of what numbers multiply to negative 48, don't say it, and add to negative 8. Think with your partner, try a couple, see if you can come up with it. When you come up with it, raise your hand. Compare with your partner before you raise your hand. You got it? Yeah, negative 48, negative 8. Okay. Got it up here? What are we doing? Sitting there. Okay, if you're not sure, try 1 and negative 48, try 2 and negative 24, try 3 and negative 16. You know what I mean? Remember how we did that? So if we're not sure, some of you did a great job pulling it off. That's great. If I'm not sure, I'm just going to go one by one. 2 and negative 24. 3 and negative 16. 4 and negative 12. And there it is. Now, do you need to go through those one by one if you can see it right away? No. All right, now we need to remember something that I taught you a couple weeks ago. If the x squared term is a 1x squared, that's like a special good case. Makes it easy, right? These numbers become our factors. We don't have to do that whole factoring by grouping method, the Mac method as we called it. So if it's a 1x squared, you can go right here to plus 4 and minus 12 and say, oh, those are your factors. You guys remember that?
Yes.
Who doesn't? Honestly, a couple of us? Okay? This is why we're reviewing. Now, are we where we were back here?
Yeah.
So now when you're learning what we just learned, what do we do now? X plus 4 equals 0, or x minus 12 equals 0. How do I solve the first one?
Subtract 4.
X equals negative 4. Add 12. X equals positive 12. My answers, negative 4, positive 12. The purpose of factoring is to see the factors so that we can find out where it crosses the x-axis. John?
So Is the answer like always the opposite?
If the x squared term is 1. But I want, for right now, I want you to show me the steps. I want you to show me the factors. I want you to show me the breakup. And I want you to show me the solve. I don't want you to just to jump from here to here. Because it's not always true if there's a couple special. This is a special case, and I tried to start with a simple one. But good pickup. Very good pickup. All right, look down here. Is it 1x squared? Okay. So factors of negative 12. But what's the number here?
1.
1. So 1 and negative 12. 2 and negative 6. 3 and negative 4. Do you remember what we do then? Switch. Negative 3, positive 4. Can we use the shortcut? What do you think?
Yes.
Abby, can you tell me what the factors would be? You're shaking your head yes. Good. X plus 4. Well done. And don't forget the equals 0. That's a new piece, Tara, we're adding on today, that equals 0. Now it's broken into factors. And so, Kyle, I'm going to break it into my two pieces. My first piece is x minus 3. My second piece is x plus 4. John, Hannah, Justin, or Haley, can you solve this for me? Go ahead, John. Okay, add 3. Subtract 4. So let's put those in the right order. Negative 4 and 3. So far so good? You remember factoring, basic factoring. Question, John? Can we do one more first? All right, then we'll get you there. Look at 2C. What are we missing? The C term. Now, I'm demonstrating this to you because, Brett, what I've found is these kind of problems, they're actually easier, but we only do them every so often, and so people forget how to do them. So I put a little note up to the side here. I said, when you only have two terms and both have an x, look for a GCF. What would the GCF be between x squared and 5x? Just an x. So put the x out front. Help me here. X times what is x squared? X times what is negative 5x? Negative 5. Do I need an equal 0? Yep. We have two parts. Part 1, part 2. Let's set each part equal to 0. X equals 0 or x minus 5 equals 0. The first one's already solved. The second one to solve, Noah, what would we do? Plus 5. So I write my answer, 0, comma, 5. Now as we look at this, is it possible, let me go back up to 2b. Notice, did you do any factoring with a 2x squared or a 3x squared or anything like that? Could you? You'd have to do the MAC method then, right, in factoring by grouping? So we've got to realize that sometimes that's going to happen. Might not happen today, but it might happen tomorrow when we kind of do the full piece. All right, so we have 12 problems tonight. I need you to show the steps. All right, break it up into two parts, solve each one, and then write your answer as a solution set. If you've got other questions about the practice quiz also, now would be a good time to ask them.